dear participants, I'm really happy to see all of you here in Silk Road International University of Tourism and Cultural Heritage in a gorgeous Samarkand. You know, Samarkand is the world capital of cultural heritage and tourism. And here in the Silk Road International University of Tourism, we are really thrilled to see you all to participate in our today educational panel, educational session or public talk. So it's not a scientific conference at all, just in case. So we make yourself comfortable, make yourself, you know, like relaxing. So we will be discussing a lot of things, quite actual, quite really hard, and quite, you know, important for us. Not for today, but for our sustainable future, and not just in tourism and hospitality, in our sustainable future in general. You know, Central Asia has been really dynamic region in case of development of tourism. That's why we're all here today as well, yeah? And we are visiting Samarkand and Tashkent quite frequently. But in any case, education, human capital, yeah? Level of service, quality, it's very important things that tourism and hospitality should include in to develop further, yeah? So that's why we are here today, and we will be discussing all the things together with our educational experts. But first, as we are in the university, I will invite here my colleague Rushona Rafeeva, a lecturer of Tourism Management Department at our university. And Rushona Rafeeva will present our students that prepared a small presentation for their project. But please, Rushona.
Our dear guests and colleagues, we're glad to host today's educational panel in the halls of the Silk Road International University of Tourism, because it is the first time. I had the question, why it's like a tourism forum and it's conducted in the Institute of the Foreign Languages. And finally, we reached our goal, dream, and today we are collaborating together. As the additional information, I am one of those who work with the Silk Road destinations, or we know them as the Katya, right? Early in December, we decided to collaborate and present a project in the frame of the educational panel. So today, my students, they are third grade students of the tourism management faculty, they will present you their experimental research that was conducted in Samarkand. So, let me present those ladies. Usually we know that men, they are engaged in such things, right? In the scientific things. Today, our ladies are Bafrankova Fatima and Zuhro, their sisters, Oromjonova Shahrizoda, Mustafakulova Sadina. Actually, thank you very much. Actually, they are pretty experienced in the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, because they were the participants as a staff member of the world-known meetings, and of course, like of the MICE, like UNWTO, EBRD, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So let us give them the word and the stage.
Good day, dear guests. I would like to start with the explanation of navigation. So I would like to start with the explanation of navigation. Wayfinding and navigation is always navigate for visitors to find their location in unfamiliar destination, such as cities, attractions, and the place where they can give clear information. And the next, in existing research part shows that tourist information signs increase visitor stops by 30%, and also they boost in visitor spending by 20%, and 35% of unplanned stops occur when travelers want to stop during showing advertisement on tourism information signs, and 70% of travelers prefer to use maps, brochures during their trip.
About the importance, the role of the signs is great, especially for tourists, and it will help to better navigate to reach the exact place. And it's also easy to using landmarks instead of the street names. And it also will have to remember the routes and high satisfaction ratings also. And what we did during our research, we chose the university reward for analysis, and we go along with this place, and we conducted an experiment here. We looked for there with the eyes of the tourists, and after that we took some photos for our further analysis.
So after taking some photos, we find 5 signs, and here the 3 of them. The first one, you can see the map. Yeah, the first one you can see the map. In the second sign you can see museum square, and the third one is a classical sign. In the first one it shows the map, and map is clear for all the tourists, but it is instructions written in there is in Uzbek. In the second is museum square. This sign was behind the huge tree and ATM, and it is we just accidentally find this sign. And the third one, classical sign, you can see that the lack of some instruction of signs, and you can see there is no there is directions, but some directions are wrong. And as part of these following things, they don't show 4 things of these locations. The first one is 3 ATM locations and numerous hotels and restaurants, presence of parks and places of interest, for example, museum.
In addition to the tourist signs, there are also some tourist information centers in our city that are also helping simplifying the tourist trips in Samarkand. But the little problem of those centers are the lack of available services. And the reason of this might be the owners' desire to those services that bring more great profits, such as selling souvenirs, providing the transportation, accommodation or restaurant informations, and promoting the attractive places. But in order to improve the tourist information centers, we recommend to add following list information too. Based on the above research, analysis and results, we identified the shortage of the existing information signs, and therefore our first recommendation depends on the setting new navigation signs in the crossroads and fallback machines for tourist convenience. So when it comes to the existing tourist signs, we need to correct some errors in order to improve them. For example, there we can enhance the visual appeal with the eye-catching light. And we need to upgrade and relocate it in another place in order to make it more visible. The next, this classical sign needs to be included the distance indicators for better navigation. And also we can include some essential services like ATM, banks and restrooms. So the last is the board, which also need to be translated into English and Russian languages to make it understandable for the tourists. And we can duplicate the information to the other side of the board to attract the tourist attentions. So in general, we hope that our recommendations will help for better navigation.
Thank you very much, George. When I shared my background that I actually work with the tourists, it was very surprising when on the second day of their stay in a city hotel, that is in the boulevard, they were asking me about places to go for dinner, lunch, and the idea that because of the absence of the signs, they didn't know that there is like whole Gastro Street just opposite to them, right? Which means that those businesses located next to them, they were losing potential customers and money. And can you imagine that the results that we found, they were done within like 1 month. They might seem minor, like details, but usually those small details, they have very huge role in overall satisfaction level of the tourists. So by presenting this project, we wanted to show that the things that have been done within like the last 6-7 years, they are huge. The city is changing rapidly. However, there are things that also they need to be considered and thought. So I want to thank you for your attention. Probably we have something to discuss later during the educational panel as well with the academicians. Thank you very much.
Это было очень интересно. Спасибо огромное, Рокшона, спасибо огромное, студенты. I will mix Russian and English for your convenience. Definitely we should do a bilingual section today. No worries with me, I hope it will not be worried also for you as well. So, and now we are about to start our main part, the educational panel. We need a main screen, yeah. By the way, involving students, involving younger generation, engaging them into tourism and hospitality, that's actually really important thing to do for us, and it should be a part of our strategy, not just for tourism and hospitality, but for any kind of industry. The more younger generation will start involving with the industry, then they will be much more happy with the industry further on. And then they will be graduating from the university, they will be already hired. They will not be looking for a job anymore. Well, the younger generation we will engage, чем моложе ребят мы будем вовлекать в индустрию, чем больше мы будем заниматься профориентацией, показывать плюсы индустрии туризма, гостеприимства, тем легче им будет учиться, практиковаться и завтра стоять вместе с нами, работать и развивать нашу индустрию и в Узбекистане, и в других странах Центральной Азии. Коллеги, я думаю, тут все со мной будут согласны, правда? Thank you so much. So, we are starting our special session. Education for tourism and hospitality, combining the industry needs and academic practices for sustainable future. So, я модератор сегодня, меня зовут Артем Клыков, профессор кафедры туризма университета Силк-Род, профессор, визитирующий университета Свистан, Санкт-Петербург, 15 лет работы в индустрии, 7 лет работы в образовании. Кроме образовательной деятельности занимаюсь консалтингом и прочими проектами, потому что невозможно преподавать в индустрии, не имея практического опыта. Да, мы все знаем с вами эту боль. So it's a really big challenge right now. You can be really high in research activity, you can be really high in academic activity, but if you do have a lack of industrial experience, that not will be good for your students, for younger generation, for the result. So industry are waiting, industry is thriving for us, for young generation who will be professional, not just knowledge, skills. That's what's important for our industry. Yeah. So, and I would like to invite our lovely speakers today, and we start from the ladies, definitely. Наталия Гринева, General Manager Movenpick Samarkand, please. Sandra, Operational Manager Hilton Samarkand Regency, Samarkand. And our respectable professors, Professor Alex Porter, Dean of Team University Tashkent. Professor Dagani Kis, Dean of Central Asian University Tashkent. And this really important moment right now, because we do have a vacant place in our educational panel. So, we will just make a kind of, a questionnaire, a small question. Who wants to join us as a speaker, as an expert here?
Not exactly from education.
Not exactly from education, mostly from business perspective. You should be speaking English. больше практических навыков мы молодежи в начале дадим, тем проще будет потом взлететь, тем проще будет потом построить успешный бизнес и свои успешные карьеры. Thank you so much. And the last but not least.
Well, whatever I will be speaking today, it will be more from the perspective of a child company, so it's slightly different from the hotel business.
Even more valuable than.
Yeah, and more challenging for the university staff, to be honest. So I want to actually highlight on two things. First is the self-education. The tourism, especially like when it comes to the office stuff, the tourism is like kind of not about the knowledge and some specific skills. It's all like skills, like all in one. And to be able to gain those skills, the students or graduates, they need to learn themselves. Like, you know, the technology is changing a lot, like ChatGPT, you know, artificial intelligence. And currently I'm looking for the stuff to my office, and I don't know how to make an announcement because I don't want to say that, hey, I don't need your diploma, I don't need your, you just need to learn, just need to know English, to be able to study yourself, and then I will guide you myself. And for this purpose, I really suggest to focus more on the self-education skills, because then the person will be quite successful in, at least in tourism field. I think it's quite important for any fields. And if you look on the actually top managers of major travel companies, at least in Central Asia, whom I know overall the world, they are completely from different fields, including me. I studied 7 years of finance. I did my master's back in finance from Stockholm University. You know, it is quite sad that I spent like 7 years. It's still quite useful, but then I realized, no, this is not for me. And the passion brought me to the tourism. So, but the skills that I gained during my studies at the masters in Sweden, this was the self-education, and that helped me actually. I did the marketing myself. I did finance myself. I did many things, even web design myself, and that actually made us one of the top leading travel company in Tajikistan. You know, I was telling to guys that during the pandemic, I was thinking, maybe I should do the master's degree in tourism, and I started to look on some programs of free. There were many online free programs, and I realized that 80% of the things which was in the content was useless for me. You know, business. It was honestly useless, and 20% the rest I could say, I could do it myself. So and also for that purpose, we need to be involved. Our business owners, we need to be more involved in the process of preparing the program. It should be template, you know. The way how, for example, in Turkey works, it doesn't work here. The same in Scandinavia, you know, it's completely different. So for that purpose, you need to collaborate with the business owners, the business top managers, and make some specific approach that works very well in Central Asia, for example. I'm talking about travel business, travel companies, exactly, not the hotel business. So for that reason, I would say that try to involve more business owners. And I know that it's first of all the responsibility of the business owners and the top managers, because we are very passive. And the situation, for example, in Tajikistan, where we have really huge lack of the qualified guides. So if you take 50 top guides in Tajikistan, none of them studied tourism in the university, because the university really sucks, probably. And so that led us to initiated a project called Tajikistan Guides, and it was financed by our company, and where we trained the 40 guides, you know. So we say to I said to myself, okay, enough to blame the government, enough to blame the universities, so do it yourself, how you want. So we had like 3-stage courses. We invited a trainer from the US. It was financially supported by the state government of America, United States. Yeah, so there we could actually design and make the own way of the training. And then during this course, we were really happy with the outcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Very valuable. Thank you. В данном случае мы говорили о том, что очень важна роль самообразования, да, и получения самостоятельных навыков. И, конечно же, опять-таки, все мы обучались в университетах, классических университетах, мы потом на работу, мы понимали, что очень большая часть знаний, даже не про навыки речь, знаний, нам, скорее всего, не пригодится, она уже не очень релевантна в настоящем ключе, а тем более завтра, она тем более будет нерелевантна. Поэтому ничего другого не остается, как заниматься самообразованием, брать какие-то короткие, интенсивные, погружающие образовательные элементы, чтобы набирать эти навыки. Да? И, безусловно, очень важно в данном случае говорить о развитии soft skills. И этому не научишься по книгам. Да? Это те настройки, которые тебе позволяют в любой индустрии сделать хорошую карьеру. Хорошая грамотная коммуникация, да? Креативное мышление, умение мыслить нелинейно, принимать решения в стрессовых ситуациях, антистрессовые истории, да, устойчивость, стержень некий. Это основные сейчас скиллы, которые требуются в нашей индустрии и в других индустриях. Научиться им, да, можно только в рамках практической деятельности. Да. Это реально можно сделать. И об этом как раз нам и нашей молодежи нужно будет думать уже сейчас, еще вчера, как говорится. Да. Thank you so much, dear speakers, for the first answers. It was really interesting to see, to share, to feel how do you understand, how do you evaluate these things. And the second question, it will be first for business representatives, for persons here in the panel who came from industry, from tourism, from hospitality. In your business, in your current business, do you have any kind of training or educational programs which you're dealing with your staff? Are their programs really effective, efficient, and given the results that you do expect from this? How does it look like? Please share.
Thank you for the question, and I would like to comment a bit the last but not least speaker, concerning the final professional choice of our students or any people or any person who would like to develop in this or that sphere. Of course, what we are speaking about, it is the practical internship, right? The earlier the better to visit hotels, to visit industry, industrial enterprises or any tourist agencies, for example, just to train to take the advantage to understand how a business is working. And you may choose, our student may choose finance or marketing or sales or reception or F&B, any sphere in hospitality business, for example, or in tourism. As well as additional trainings which we are doing, of course, for our teams. And in Accor and in Movenpick as well, we have online courses, we have offline courses. They are divided in special sections concerning connected with reception or housekeeping or service in F&B or finance. And it is really very important. And we are supporting our core academy. And me, myself, I was doing MICE trainings for students in our academy in Moscow. So I think business and education should be very close to each other. And definitely all our employees should have possibility, and they have it, to be trained by the company they are working for.
Thank you so much. Буквально пару слов на русском. Наталья говорит о том, что в рамках гостиничного оператора который как раз владеет брендом Movenpick и представляет интересы Movenpick здесь у нас, достаточно большая образовательная программа предусмотрена в отеле. Очень много узконаправленных тренингов и сертификаций для работников отеля по своим направлениям. И также есть направления, которые связаны с кросс-менеджментом, по всем департаментам можно пройти, получить, скажем так, такие ключевые навыки. И, конечно же, международные гостиничные сети, то, о чем мы говорили на моей вчерашней сессии, кто был, вижу, здесь были коллеги, которые присутствовали вчера, то, что дают глобальные бренды, они дают очень хорошую образовательную историю для локальных ребят, для локальных специалистов, дают как раз те знания, которые очень сложно получить здесь, в моменте. Спасибо большое. Thank you so much, Наталья. Just a small second, a small announcement from you.
Маленькое объявление. Я смотрю, что некоторые уже уходят. В общем-то, уходить, друзья, некуда, потому что через 20 минут, мы надеемся, мы закончим вовремя, мы все вместе отсюда на тех же автобусах отправляемся в следующее место. Это закрывающий семинар, но он уже совсем в другой атмосфере. Это семинар, он называется «Как продавать узбекские вина». Вы, наверное, уже понимаете, что это будет связано с получением опыта сомелье, от очень опытного сомелье, с дегустацией, которая, как бы вот такая немножко образовательная часть, перейдет сразу в ужин, где у нас будет дегустация еще одна от фермера, всеми нами любимого известного, и, в общем, там вечеринка начинается. Поэтому, если вообще, в принципе, собираетесь оставаться в Самаркандском форуме туризма сегодня вечером, сейчас осталось 20 минут, никуда не надо уходить, мы прям двинемся дальше. Вот технический момент. Спасибо.
Represent, because the Fujian person is missing. That sounds lovely. Yeah, sorry. I'm the CEO and the founder of a travel company called Travel Journey. We're based in Fujian, Tajikistan.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. You're welcome to join us. We do have forum, 100% full house. Very good. So today our section is dedicated into a very important topic. How to combine academic practices, university experience, to a real needs of our industry, tourism and hospitality. And it's not a secret for all of us that it's really a lot of what to do, a lot of what to think, a lot of what to discuss, and maybe argue about. Just feel like drama, But today we will not do any kind of drama discussions. We need solutions, we need plan, we need joint and common strategy to move on. Otherwise, tomorrow will be not sustainable. And we are all working for sustainability, yeah? Really? Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, we start with the first question to all of you. It will be kind of introduction question. In your case, in your experience, in your understanding, what will be top 3 problems of education connected with the industry? What can be a critical fields for you to mention, just to mention, and then we will go on with the discussions. What is the most painful part right now connecting education and the industry? You have all microphones, so you please can use it, and you're welcome to start.
Hello. Let me say some words. It's okay? Well, let me say some words about my experience in hospitality. As Nathan said, it's very important to be in the field, let's say. So I'm already more than 12 years in a firm, opening hotels and operating hotels. And now I'm here in Movenpick Samarkand, and I'm happy to be here as well. As happy as I was in Moscow or in other cities in Russia. And speaking about top 3 situations or things which we have to work at. They are the understanding of business without any rose glasses, let's say. When our students came to us, we see that they always like to be managers, of course. They would like to do some things which maybe they do not know how to do. But for me, the most important thing is to start practice as quick as possible, just maybe from the first course of the university. Then I think that the second point should be for students to understand that they have to start from the ground. So they cannot start from the second, third, or I don't know, from the top positions. They have to start from the ground definitely, because they cannot manage people if they don't know how to work themselves on the ground. And the third point is we have not, I maybe touch a point, but our salaries in the industry are not yet competitive. But for me, the main point is that people who work in this industry, they should be happy to be in service. And not always money is the most important point. I think to make people happy to work in the industry, we should have to work with people, to be happy doing the job, it's as well a lot. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just a bit more loud in the microphone for all the speakers. И буквально немного вышивка по-русски для коллег, которые говорят по-русски. Наталья Гринева, управляющая путеводным отелем Movenpick Samarkand, говорила о том, что очень важно, чтобы молодежь, вовлекаясь в индустрию, начинала практиковаться как можно раньше. Как можно раньше. Чем раньше они начнут, тем проще и комфортнее будет войти в индустрию уже как профессионалам. И они не будут задавать себе и окружающим вопросы. А что здесь я забыл в этой индустрии? А что происходит? А почему так мало денег? А почему так долго? А почему так тяжело? И так далее. Ну, в общем, все те вопросы, которые мы с вами слышим. Да, абсолютно. Вот чтобы это минимизировать, от этого невозможно совсем уйти. Ничего никогда не бывает на 100% у нас. Но чтобы минимизировать эти стрессы, тревоги и все прочее у того поколения, которое завтра придет нам на смену, чем раньше они начнут, чем раньше они узнают кухню, да, и сейчас про кухню не как про кухню, да, а как про основы бизнеса, тем проще им будет дальше двигаться. Вовлекаем сразу ребят, студентов, молодежь в активность. Не только книжки читают они, но и делают что-то реальное руками. Yeah? Am I right, Natalia? Thank you so much. Alex.
Sure. All right. Well, how do we associate education to the tourism industry? Well, that's a very good question. My observations here in Uzbekistan, it's a kind of single-minded effort to produce more and more managers, top managers for the industry, because all the institutions are geared up to produce 3 or 4 year graduates from the programs. Well, the top of the pyramid in tourism is small, but the bottom is huge. So if you're not producing enough people with skills, pretty soon the service industry, tourism service industry is going to get corrupt, because it's going to be harder and harder to find with certain skills, certain language skills, certain service skills. And again, in my observation, the service in most of the tourism organizations is not that good at all. So, what can we do? But we have to look at this problem from a distance, and we should probably draw a larger picture first. If you look at the tourism industry in this country, it's growing fast, but with investments. and it's mostly directed by the government. And there are lots of people involved in tourism, and this industry is growing really fast all around the globe. Just think about it. Now, Chinese have money. Okay, they are going out, they want to explore. Pretty soon, Indians will join them in large numbers. So all the expectations, the sphere of tourism is changing. Okay, all the expectations, the variations, everything is changing very fast. And not every type of tourism is good for the countries. Tourism brings us profit, business opportunities, people, yes, but it also brings evils. Okay, think about COVID. It's basically spread out so fast because of tourism. Think about it. Okay? But it's not just bacteria or viruses. The tourism also brings corruption into some countries, into some businesses and cultures. Because there are, cultures, environmental values, and in many countries that we have to protect. But if we go, uncontrolled with our tourism investments and efforts, they will be damaged forever. They will be lost. So before everything, okay, maybe for every country, we have to strategize. We have to think, come together, in a wide base with all the stakeholders. And think which type of tourism, which categories of tourism are good for this country. Okay. What is a good match with our potential or the existing capabilities? First, we have to make a decision on them. And then we have to develop strategies. And this can be gathered together under a tourism master plan. And education must be a part of it. But not just education. What should we do in the future is capacity, okay, sustainability, protection, security, safety, investments, okay, everything should be planned ahead. And those plans are living documents. You can't just write it and put it on the shelf, let it die. Well, we have to work on it constantly. As we experience, we make changes in the plan, but there must be a plan. And that should bring together all the stakeholders, including educational institutions. But I don't want to keep you too long. Maybe we will do another round, but that's my basic idea. The approach must be a combination of everybody involved in the tourism industry. So a bottom-up planning is required for that. And of course, as educators, education organizations, we will be part in that. It will be an important part for us, for research, okay, in strategy, in writing of it, in direction of it. Of course, we will help and share, but it's not enough. Everybody must, get under that weight, and we have to live it together. So.
Thank you so much, Professor Alex. Thank you. Just a few words in Russian for our Russian speaker colleagues. Профессор Алекс говорил о том, что в принципе отрасль туризма и гостеприимства, как и любая другая отрасль с точки зрения правильного функционирования, не может быть решена локально, быстро, в спешке где-то на местах. Да? Это не подход. Подход всегда начинается со стратегии, всегда начинается с какого-то мастер-планирования. Кто мы, куда мы движемся, какие у нас цели в краткосроке, в среднесроке и так далее, да? Какими методами можем это решить, что у нас из ресурсов есть сейчас, в чем мы лимитированы с точки зрения ресурсов, что нам понадобится дальше, каким образом система образования в этом участвует, и только ли академическое образование, а может быть еще и среднеспециальное, и колледжи, и все остальное, и второе высшее, и ДПО, это же тоже все наши инструменты для того, чтобы сделать нашу индустрию с точки зрения human capital sustainable, да? Чтобы мы не только сегодня были уверены в том, что все наши тургиды вышли на работу или горничные в отеле вышли на работу, чтобы мы понимали, что это продлится дальше, что наш став остается с нами, они счастливы и довольны работать у нас, они развиваются, мы даем возможность развиваться дальше. Таким образом, и индустрия становится более стабильной. Стабильность – то, что нам нужно сейчас. Да? На основании стабильной системы мы можем говорить об устойчивом будущем. Это не только индустрии нашей, касается любой индустрии другой. внимание. So, Наталья, please.
Still good afternoon for everyone, and I start to my speech with a few words about myself as well. I'm one of those people who actually was graduated from university, specialized on tourism. So I can compare what is education and what is real life in our business. And also I'm one of those people who have to start the career very early during the education, and that moment already I realized that some of my teachers in university absolutely have zero experience in a modern hospitality business, even it was more than 15 years ago. That's why I'm pretty sure and agree with basic idea that definitely people who teach the students nowadays need to have the real experience in a modern business. No matter is it tourism business or hotel industry, but definitely this experience is one of the priority. What I learned here when I start work in Samarkand, that definitely people of Uzbekistan are very hospitable, extremely. But when the story get combined of hospitality and business, something goes wrong because people want to share absolutely everything what they have, but they do not understand how to earn money on it. And about the students, agree with Natalia that a lot of young people just want to go from university and already get a position of manager, at least supervisors. In our hotel we was lucky, and during the pre-opening we hired some employees, actually students from Silk Road University, and nowadays after 1.5 years some of them finally got promotions to some already middle management positions, and I'm very happy that a lot of students from this university realized that yes, it's necessary to start their career from the very first steps, and it will not work that with a pack of knowledge but without experience you will just make the best effort and best practice in life. So my wish is really to combine the business and education. When I was working at St. Pete, actually I even got invitation to be as examinator in one of university, which also graduated students for hospitality industry. And also that moment I realized that we need to combine, to provide some master classes, maybe lectures, wherever it might be, inside of the university as is on the spot, on the businesses. So really it's need to combine practice and apply their knowledge, what they learn from the lectures, in the real life. And I believe it will help us a lot, and students will realize very early what they need to do, how they need to do, to grow up in a real top managers.
Thank you so much, Валерия. Валерия говорила о том, как она, как сама выпускница одного из университетов по специальности туризм, гостеприимство, гостиничный менеджмент, проходила обучение и уже, разумеется, начинала работать, как многие из нас здесь делали, да, без этого было невозможно. И когда уже тогда было понятно, что есть преподаватели, которые, к сожалению, не всегда находятся в одной линии с тем, что происходит сейчас в индустрии. Это не их вина, они часть системы. Система развивается так, и система устоялась таким образом, что не дает им достаточно динамики, чтобы развиваться дальше. И поэтому, как Валерия сказала снова, чем раньше мы начинаем вовлекаться в индустрию именно с профессиональной точки зрения, тем раньше мы можем выйти на хорошие позиции, тем раньше мы можем занять уже что-то. И в возрасте 22, 23, 24 лет уже быть интересными на рынке труда, а не самим искать работу, сбивая себе ноги, да? То есть либо сделать свой собственный проект. И как раз соединение академического образования и бизнес-содержания, чем чаще ты имеешь возможность сравнивать это самостоятельно делать для себя какие-то сшивки, связки из этого, да, тем успешнее, тем стабильнее, тем динамичнее будет твоя карьера в этой индустрии. Вы сами знаете, наша индустрия не самая легкая с точки зрения денег, карьеры, достижений и прочего. Есть гораздо более легкие индустрии, но не о них сегодня. Да? Oil and gas and something like behind the law, you know. Продолжаем дальше. And please, Professor Erdogan, please share your vision.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's not fair. Being in the fourth speaker, I wrote as a proof my points when the question was asked. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Natalia mentioned the first one, Alex mentioned the 1 and 3, and Valeria mentioned 1 and 3 as well. So, whatever I say now will sound like I am cheating from their paper. Okay, I have a proof. But, to say the truth, lack of coordination with the stakeholders, as mentioned earlier, is very important. We always say that, oh, the industry doesn't care about the education, educator doesn't talk with the industry members, the government doesn't care, both of them, neither of them. But we have to change that. And as Valeria mentioned, a good example, we have to not just one day, we have to hire industry managers, supervisors to teach. And I don't want to sound like I'm, patting my own shoulder, but right now, this semester, my students are taking housekeeping from the housekeeping manager of Hilton. They are taking food and bar service from the manager of food and beverage operations, and concierge and reception and reservation. So these 4 courses I know very little about, and I don't claim to know about. But bringing, coordinating with the industry, this can be an example. We have to just stop complaining and say that, well, we are designing our curriculum, we need to go to industry and say that, hey, what kind of graduates you want? If we don't do that, whatever we do, we know something, but it may not fit what the industry needs. So that's number 1. Number 2, slightly changing, negative perception of service industries. Uzbek people, as Valeria, Natalia, and Alex mentioned, they are very hospitable people. But in general, the service industry sounds like, oh, putting yourself down, and why shouldn't I be a manager? We have to break this from day 1. We have to make sure that the parents know that unless they have a hotel, that their daughters and sons be a manager, and the next day they graduate, they have to work. They have to get their hands dirty. This is very important. And again, thank you very much. You mentioned the combination of skill and theory. The school curriculum needs to change. Alex is right. While we were working with him, we wanted to propose a 2-year diploma program. I spoke with some parents, some of my colleagues. They said, no, don't do that. Uzbek people don't like 2-year diploma programs. I said, why? They said, their neighbors will make fun of their kids because they just graduate from 2-year program. They want a bachelor program. Anything under that, nah, rubbish, technical college. They don't like it. But the managers here, they need people to work. As Alex mentioned, not everyone can be managers. Potentially, yes, but not everyone will be manager in day 1 without putting sweat and hard work. So, I think we need to lower our expectations, try to technical colleges, 2-year diploma programs where the focus is skill, not just management, HR management. Yes, I am teaching that. I am teaching marketing, but to come to that year 3 and year 4, you have to know how to set a bed. You need to know how to lay a table and clean. If you don't deserve to be considered as a supervisor or manager. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very valuable. Thank you. Буквально пару слов о том, что сказал профессор Эрдоган. Очень важная вещь. Да, нам необходимо двигаться на пути того, чтобы наша молодежь, наши студенты, наши дети не думали о том, что hospitality, туризм – это что-то такое, где можно легко заработать деньги, тут же стать менеджером, построить головокружительную карьеру и так далее. Ничего не легко. Сначала нужно поработать руками, иногда не в самых потом чистых местах. Если ты не сможешь быть executive housekeeper или каким-то еще руководителем в гостиничном фонде, если ты сам не знаешь, как вымыть санузел. И делать ты должен это автоматически, за то время, по тому стандарту, который прописан. Если ты сам этого не знаешь, ты не можешь этим управлять. Если ты не можешь этим управлять, какой из тебя менеджер? Никакой. То есть они реально должны пройти все сами. У меня был такой же опыт, буквально 30 секунд я вам расскажу. Уже в достаточно взрослом возрасте я поехал в Швейцарию, чтобы получить там степень MBA в Hospitality Management. Мне было 35 лет, я был генеральным директором 2 крупных отелей в Санкт-Петербурге. У меня был свой штат персонала, порядка 30 человек. Мы открывали 2 отеля, и через несколько месяцев штат должен был вырасти до 200 человек. У меня все было хорошо. Тем не менее, я прошел через housekeeping курс, вымыл несколько санузлов, застелил много кроватей, знал, как подавать завтрак, обед, ужин, что нужно говорить, что говорить нельзя, как смотреть, как не смотреть, как двигаться, что такое body language. Эти все скиллы нужны гораздо важнее, чем умение руководить людьми. Сначала базовые вещи, затем executive вещи. Наоборот, никогда не работает. So it was actually, и повестка очень актуальна. Я уверен, что вам тоже будет что сказать в конце дискуссии. И уже в кулуарном режиме можем продолжить обсуждение, безусловно. Да, в том числе, потому что, конечно же, нам важно не только как продавать узбекские вина, но и как ими, в принципе, можно наслаждаться и следует наслаждаться. Да? Начинаем с этого, а о продаже подумаем уже потом. Thank you so much for waiting me. Yeah, so Professor Alex, please share your experience also, and Valeria, please, yeah.
Of course, the Hilton brand also got a lot of mandatory trainings, including like offline and online, and it is a special portal for the staff. And also Hilton brand is working with the Lobster in preparation. It is very famous training platform based in UR actually. So a lot of even practical trainings we conduct Power and Play online. Of course, it's not easy to teach people online because you will not follow up what they really learn and how they really learn. So again, I agree that it is very important to also practice and offline trainings, especially in Uzbekistan. A lot of people need to feel that you pay attention to their needs and what they learn, how they are listening to you, and how you are looking at them. So this is kind of the human beings specific that really need to feel. But also going back to what Natalia said in the first part, that I must say that we are still lack of the trainings for sales specialists. It is not so difficult to train a good waiter or even the front office agent, but when people like to sell, especially the hotel product or even it will be the tour product, this you really need to learn from someone seniority who can share their knowledge, who can share the best practice. So of course we also try to involve our managers in all education program. Definitely we have the training calendars for each department. So the very big pool of training tools.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Валерия сказала о том, как в рамках системы Hilton Worldwide, такого же большого гостиничного оператора, как Accor, также существует большая глобальная обучение сотрудников, и не только просто обучение, но и мотивировки, повышение, промоушены и так далее, потому что это все взаимосвязано. И как раз сейчас, чему можно поучиться у глобальных сетей, что можно взять для себя с точки зрения релевантных историй, человеку в принципе меняется в рамках системы. То есть он теперь центр системы. Именно поэтому у нас теперь не отдел кадров, а human capital department. Да? Чувствуете разницу? Сразу совершенно другой подход. Человек в центре системы. We are people working with people. We are people working for people. We are making people happy. То есть это наша задача. Just a second. So, поэтому как раз в рамках того, как мы удерживаем, мотивируем, учим персонал на своих объектах, очень важно понимать, что это вот именно это облако эмоций, это облако впечатлений и применения полученных знаний на практике. You have a comment, yeah?
Question.
Yes, please.
Okay, microphone, sure. Miles Stavovich. I run one of the USAID projects that deals with tourism, the sister project of one of the sponsors. In hospitality, I hear you're addressing the skills gap in raw skills in terms of education. But what about the leadership gap? And what about the problem-solving gap? There's a gap among putting people, young people in the front line, customer-facing work, and yet when they encounter a problem that is not something in their script, they do not know how to solve it. I've seen this here, and I've seen this in many countries. They're not enabled, on one hand, to solve the problem that the customer has, or they're not taught how to solve that problem. So the gap is not so much education, but can you give the person in the front line the power and the ability to solve that customer's problem right there on the spot, instead of calling a manager at 4 o'clock in the morning when there are problems. And there is a definite big gap in hospitality between frontline client-facing staff and management up in the high tower. And that gap, it grows bigger and bigger each day. And it's not being addressed by the universities. And my question is to the hotel managers, how are you addressing this gap? And it's not online training. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant question, thank you.
Yeah, actually, you're absolutely right. And actually, I might add that some people just afraid to take this ownership on them. So we are trying to work on these soft skills and individuals of the people. Actually, in the Hilton brand, we got one of the process, and it's called ownership. That each employee need to have this skill and these feelings. That of course we will not punch or somebody if he told something wrong or make any wrong decision on the spot. This happened, and we will just learn why it happened and what you did and what maybe you better did. So, but this is what we try to learn to our staff, that they need to be free to solve all the situations by themselves, not to call really in the night, what shall I do with guests on this and that. We will discuss later what it was. But you are free and you are welcome to try yourself and to solve this issue how you feel it. And the last ad, even in my previous hotel chain, we always was telling, and I brought it to my new career, you always need to think from the guest point of view. Just imagine if you was in this situation, what you want employee will do for you. So this is simple as that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Anything to add for this question? Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. It's okay? Yeah, it's okay. Because the question was to the hotel management, that's why as well. I would like to say some words. So thank you for this great question, and it's very important to put in mind of our young people who are working with us that hospitality is real passion. It's passion, passion, and passion. They should love our customers. They should not feel that they are serving. They are in hospitality. They are the masters of the hotel. It is really important to put in their minds. Then they should be valued. We have to trust them. We have to give them this feeling that we trust them, and empowerment. It's really very important. And there should be some scripts. Young people should have scripts in their mind because sometimes they are lost in front of serious people, in front of our very important guests. And sometimes scripts help to, let's say, to solve the situation, to solve the problem. But once again, the even more important is to give them the power to decide. Exactly. Always the power to decide. And only after they may talk to the manager and to take an advice. Was it right or not? Maybe it should be done better. And even I like not to give the direct instruction. I like and I prefer to know the other way of thinking exactly on this situation. So if, for example, the person is mistaken, what would be the other solution? Just I prefer to let them think. And only after I can give them the advice. Another very important point is the openness of the manager, of the general manager. I'm always open, my door is always open. I know that sometimes it's different, and I know it's in big hotels it could be totally different organization, but my door is always open. And more than that, to make people feel that my door is open and I'm open, I always come to each department, to each person, to maids, to front office, to receptionists, to our yacht keepers, to engineering department, to cookers, to everybody. They should know me in person, and it will make them feel that they can come to me and ask questions. This is very important. And this talks to the manager sometimes help them to open their minds, or to show them that we are people, we are human beings, and we can talk and we are reachable. It's really very important. So if I answer to your question, so it's not just let me know and I will add something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Natalia. Dear professors, maybe something to add for this question.
Well, the question was very sneaky. All right. First, if I may, the question started like, you educators, you are not doing this. By the way, the managers, can you answer that question? That I got. Yes, I agree that usually the problem solving, the soft skill, as my colleagues mentioned here, it is inherently personal. First, you have to be selective in taking hospitality and tourism students. Again, this is not me petting, but at Team University at Morocco, while we were hiring, taking the students in, we interviewed them. Because studying business, studying engineering is different than studying hospitality. What we did, we involved hotel managers to be in the panel, asking why the hell you want to study hospitality. Because it's not easy. It's not, really fun, because everybody's having weekend fun, you have to work. Everybody's having New Year, you have to work. So, selection is important. Second, national culture, occupational culture, organizational culture. I was very happy Hilton and Movenpick managers mentioned that their organizational culture creates room for empowerment, because that's another thing. If, for example, customer come and ask something and I took chance and did, and then I get scolded, then why I will do the next time? I forgot, one of the waiters in a Turkish restaurant forgot to bill me the dessert. I got the bill, paid the main course. I went 2 weeks later, came, the guy was so happy to see me. He approached me, he said, oh, last time you didn't pay this 100, it's my fault, sorry. Imagine what kind of management is that. They scare him to cut from his salary for $8. And this guy, this was like hanging on his head like a sword for 2 weeks, $8. What kind of manager say, okay, he a mistake, don't worry. If he comes, we will get from him, that bastard, he ran away. But if he doesn't, no problem. That is the organizational culture. If you don't give this to your employee, then of course he will be scared and calling you at 4 a.m. say that, oh, this guy wants to update his room, the difference is $100, may I? Because if he does, and the manager says, oh, why did you do that? I didn't allow you, cut $100 from your salary, that's the organizational culture. So that's why this.
Thank you so much, профессор Ардаган. Профессор Ардаган говорил о том, что раз уровень управленческой культуры на предприятии, гостиничном, ресторанном, туристическом, очень важен с точки зрения того, каким образом мы работаем с молодежью, работаем с персоналом. Если мы их держим в страхе все время за какое-то что-то там, за какое-то, они ничему этому не учатся. Они находятся в стрессовом состоянии, и как у любого биологического организма в стрессовом состоянии их одна реакция. Что сделать? Сбежать. Да? Это не работник уже. Может быть, бессмысленно у вас. Соответственно, изменение организационной структуры, изменение в структуре управления, как раз в типе лидерства на предприятии на вашем, это тоже очень большая тема, которой следует учиться, следует вовлекать и как раз делать все для того, чтобы ваши ребята, ваша команда чувствовала себя достаточно комфортно для того, чтобы развивать ваш бизнес вместе с вами, а не мешать вам, не путаться под ногами и не сбегать от вас, дай бог, если с пустыми карманами, а если еще и с вашими деньгами. Да, бывает и такое. Thank you so much. Professor Alex, anything to add for the question?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can add, I can take it one step up. Of course, as Dr. Erdogan mentioned, I mean, this is an organizational cultural problem, if it is a problem. But organizations are a part of the main culture. So in collective cultures, especially if they have been democratic for a long time, people tend to not to take the lead in anything. But it's a very common thing. And if you don't teach people, how to lead in certain situations, if you don't delegate power, authority, and of course they will be responsible for the results, but it can be balanced somehow. It's not going to happen. Okay? It is, and it is the both sides of the coin. So it's not just the employees, it's also the employers, because they want to keep the power on top. This is the top-down culture. It comes from the families, and the natural result is what you said. But I'm not sure that's a problem, because these countries solve problems differently. In the collectivist cultures, the problems are solved differently than the individualistic cultures. But you're right, in the service industry, people must take certain responsibility and come up with solutions. And can that be taught in the schools? Yes, but we have to be careful, since a T university that's been tried, and the first cohort ended up with not very good results. Because suddenly when you take people off the shackles, they tend to run with the ball, okay, and that creates problems. It even creates personal and organizational cultural problems. So there must be a certain transition in the education, probably starting from the mid-education, and again, in the big planning, in big strategic planning, that can be taught during the high school to the people who are interested in the service industry. But in the university, it's probably quite late, and it's causing problems. But it can be taught, discussed, and solutions can be offered. But it's not that easy, I can tell you.
Thank you so much, Professor Alex. And we are heading to the last question. And yes, please.
Thank you for giving me floor. Of course, this is last question. My first question to the public. How many of you want your son work as a manager in a hotel? And how many of you want your son work as a CEO of hotel or owner of the hotel? Can you translate? so much for answer. This is the biggest gap between education system and industry. This is the topic of education, and I think gap between industries and academic practices. Education doesn't mean to work as a manager. And industry gap means, it doesn't mean as a job. It's mean the future leaders, the future owners. If you teach a student how to be a CEO, he can easily work as a manager. And my colleague already addressed this topic about leadership. If you teach me how to be a CEO, easily I can be a manager of a hotel. And we, unfortunately, including me as an academic person, this is the biggest gap between education system and industry. We are not telling our students what is the gap is in industry. If 200 students, almost 1,000 students study in Silk Road University, if I am not mistaken, you think 1,000 students will get job in the hotel? No. Why not? For example, very respectful industrial experts are sitting, because I consider myself always as a student. I'm learning always from the seniors. In industry, there is a big gap in different things. If I include one example, disposable shoes. Every day you are using in the hospitality industry the disposable shoes, yes? There is a big gap. If somebody came to work in hospitality industry, I can provide you the cheapest disposable shoes, who are the sustainable, more good and more reliable. Is you are going to buy from him? From that person. There is the biggest gap. And now my second question, now my experts who is sitting, my professors, teachers, of course, how you are going to teach our future leaders relevant to the new trend of education. For example, my colleague also mentioned about ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. In previous year, there is a lot of persons hired in the hotel, in the industries, for writing the content. But now ChatGPT are doing very well content. There is no need of content writer. There is video editors in hospitality industry as well. And ChatGPT and artificial intelligence are doing very well. How the academic education system will work with the future, for future sustainability relevant to the new trend of education system. Like when we are going to teach our students, mostly we are teaching the old curriculum, as Professor Erdogan mentioned. How?
Why you are doing that? Yeah, the
no.
Erdogan.
No, this is, next is my question. Like, okay, you say we are like teaching our old curriculum. Now, as an expert of education, how you think we can play our role in the future sustainability of new trend of education system?
No, thank you very much. AI was around for the last couple of years, only became accessible to us like a couple of months ago, let's say 6 months ago. Before that, it was very expensive, only, quite few, let's say 1 year. I agree that that's something that what we are doing should reflect not today, not yesterday. It should reflect, or it should prepare the student for the future. And again, I know for sure that at TIM University there is a IT in business course. In our curriculum we have AI and tourism hotel management course, but these courses are going to take some time to sink in, to create. I'm not an expert. I cannot grab some IT guy and say, okay, teach us this. We are evolving, we are aware of that. Not only, for the industry. The industry itself is trying to find a nice way to utilize it in the guest relations, in the answering the online guest or customer requests. We are all learning together, okay? So I don't have a secret recipe to solve this issue yet, all right? But the same thing happened. I'm not very old. However, when the internet was, booming up, I was undergraduate student, and people were saying that, oh, now everyone will copy paste from internet, academia is dead, we are all ruined. No, there were some programs checking the plagiarism, there were some checks and balances. It took some time, but we get there. The same thing, like we were shocked when the AI started writing the student projects as an educator. What we did, we changed. Instead of a project submission, we turned into a presentation, a combination of what is written on the paper and what you have to present. I forced the student to write on a piece of paper, old style, okay? Even if he checked from AI, while he or she is writing, at least something will stay here. So I'm not saying that we are all done, but we are learning, we are working, and if the industry has some tips for us, please share, because this is a problem or an opportunity for all of us. All right?
Thank you so much. Anything to add? Yeah, please.
Just a few words. Owner or worker. To my mind, we have to feel like owners at our business. Service is very difficult. Very difficult. You should not, we cannot feel like someone who is just serving. We should feel like owners in our hotels or in our business. This helps us to make very good service and very good atmosphere. This is very important. Any maid or any waiter or any receptionist have to feel that they are, or as if they are owners of the business, because they are very important. And only this may help them to do a good job, and afterwards only they can be the owners, the real owners of the business. It's first thing. And it helps to, then coming back to artificial intellect or any digital things which helps us to work, it's okay. I mean, when you are in business which is person to person, maybe AI can help you to do some technical jobs. But never, it is we can speak about emotions. Tourism, hospitality, it's all about emotions. We sell emotions, in fact. Yes, we sell some services, some technical things, but in fact it is emotions. When you eat very tasty food, when you sleep well, when you communicate with very nice people, it's emotions. And you remember emotions. Okay, if AI will help you to do some paperwork, okay, no problem. But emotions you will never forget.
Thank you. Yeah, very important. Yes, please.
Just want to add about using artificial intelligence tools. I use it quite frequently now. It helps a lot, but I must say that it doesn't make you smarter. It makes you efficient. So it saves your time, and we should worry that we are going to have students or whatever, or like cheaters. When the calculator was invented, everybody thought, we don't make this old school calculation, and then we can make like a counting. No, it didn't make us stupid. So I would say that artificial intelligence still needs to be developed, and you have to adjust many times. So by one request, I can get the outcome that I really need. And to be able to understand this final result, like the perfect, I would say, you really need to also gain a lot of knowledge and skills. And university helps a lot. And personally for me, the difference of Western education, a lot like a solid style of education was specifically I realized when I studied in Sweden, where the self-education skills was really improved there for myself. Where I could understand how to gain, how to get really the necessary information and knowledge.
Thank you so much. Concluding the main topic, Professor Alex, please, I want you to share, to explain maybe briefly how we finally can combine, how we can actually deliver and make it real, a bit more, conjunction between education practice and real hospitality and tourism needs. Is it possible even? If yes, how we can manage it? How we can do this together for sure? Please.
Okay, well, of course, I work for the university, but the university is not just the primary part of the tourism education. There are other approaches, and I think there are much more efficient approaches in that sense. I can propose a body of certification, monitoring of the organizations in tourism. That's also, it will create a database for better practices, standards, and everything. And also certifying people in individual specializations, such as the cuisine. But we can certify people in cooking. But it can be a standardizing body, maybe more of an independent organization, like in the US we have this AHLA organization. In the older days, still maybe it is called the NRA, National Restaurant Association, but people confuse it with the National Rifle Association. They prefer to use AHLA today. That organization, historically certifies restaurants and similar organizations in the US. If necessary, they certify the staff. They check out the hygiene, the service quality, and similar things, and they create a huge database. And that also leads into standards and teaching. So that sort of organization today can work much more efficiently in countries like Uzbekistan. That's another approach. Instead of going through that 4-year education, 3-year education for management, that kind of an organization can solve problems much faster. So, it would be a better connection with certified instructors and certified researchers going in the organizations, checking what they're doing, quality, and then giving over them a certification, but only for a certain duration of time. So maybe 2 years they process. And in between, if the staff is not qualified, for example, they teach them and certify them too. Well, that would be a good approach to connect education to the industry right away. It's my proposal for Uzbekistan.
Thank you so much. Sounds really reasonable. Dear colleagues, anything to add for the final question? Yeah, just briefly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna cheat. It's not the final question. Just to answer your question, I use ChatGPT and say that how we can use AI in hospital tourism education, hospitality, chatbots and virtual assistant, personalized recommendation, predictive maintenance, revenue management, voice recognition, tourism, personalized travel itineraries, language translation, dynamic pricing and inventory optimization, image recognition, personalized marketing, education, adaptive learning, student support, predictive analysis, content, personalized stuff. I mean, the reason I'm not, to market, but even how to use AI, we can use AI to check. Some of the things they said, well, definitely are and should be in our curriculum. But if you ask this question 2 months later, there will be another couple of points that we don't have it now. So it's, definitely we have to work for it, but we cannot simply like accounting. Accounting rules are there. 20 years ago it is written, now you can lie back and say, okay, this is how you balance a tea table. But this will take some time to adjust. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues from the business, anything question. Natalia, Valeria.
Yeah, just as a conclusion, I still wish that with university we will continue to work on the internship, and we will establish a kind of program to invite people and managers from the business to share their best practice on seminars, master shops, and something like this. I believe for Uzbekistan and the modern situation in the educational industry, it will help a lot.
Thank you so much. Just a general conclusion from a moderator side, just a few words about this. So definitely the problem is not just simple, it cannot be decided like this. It will never be decided like this. So it should be a system actually behind it. And it's not just university story, it's academia responsible for our graduate skills. The whole educational system, not just higher education, but also vocational education, colleges, secondary, post-secondary parts, they're also responsible for this. So we should deal with this together. That's why not just universities, but all educational institutions responsible for this. And definitely we should work more together with business, because we are working for business. We're not working for vacuum, you know. Our students are not going out for vacuum, they're going to business directly. So we should make this together. And yes, definitely it's not one day task. It's a system for years. But if we will establish a system, if we will maintain a system from day by day, then in a few years we will approach significant results. Am I right? Thank you so much.
And Nathalie, just please be sure, I'm speaking for university and for those who are in education, be sure that we never count how much time we spend on our students who came to hotels. We never count how much money we spend when we are training them. Just please be sure that we are together and we are working for one goal.
Yeah, exactly. We are working for one goal. We are all in the same team. We are not controversing each other. It's not our actually aim to controverse and to be in different stages. We are working together for one industry, for our sustainable future. Actually, So that's very important to understand. We are almost out of time, so definitely we should finish right now. It will be a small announcement from Michael, just in a few seconds, and then we can continue, make it a bit in a more comfortable way, continue our discussion, questions, answers, and changing our opinions. Okay? Yeah, good.